Because in order for this to operate, we are, in this case, if we come from a certain perspective, if we can't see it, it doesn't exist. It's really difficult to prove God, for example, because you can't measure God by their ontology, what they accept as being real. What do we accept as truth? Can we prove reincarnation? What do we accept to be true? That is our ontology. And that our own academic and cultural background shapes what we accept to be true. So if you are, if you're one of the people who's living in one of the remote areas of Brazil in the Amazon rainforest and you have minimal contact with the outside world, your ontology of the world you're looking around is going to be very different than an ethnobotanist who's coming from Yale, shaped on a spiritual experience and encounter and relationship with the plants and the animals around them, as compared to someone who's coming from a scientific basis, a Western scientific basis, and what's accepted to be true. So we need to be aware that very often what we say exists or accept as existence is going to be culturally defined. And in essence, is there one real world that we all observe, or is it something that is shaped by our own perspective? Are there many views? And then, once the set of beliefs is established about what we think is real, then our research is going to follow that. And if it doesn't fit within our ontology, we may not pay attention to it. It doesn't fit the paradigm within which we are operating. The research that we encounter on various objects, even photographs, even performance art, is going to be affected by what we accept as real. The way we write about it, the way we display it, is going to be affected by what we accept as real and true. Epistemology is about our thinking, where we question what knowledge is, how it's acquired, and the extent that something can be known, whether it be a subject, an entity, an object. And it is related to ontology in that what we believe to be real is going to affect about our view of that reality. So what we believe to be true is going to affect what we do about it. This affects us cognitively and behaviorally, the way we think and what we do. What we believe affects what we think, what we do with it. And then methodology. What is the process we do to gain knowledge? What is the set of procedures we do to learn more? So what we think reality is and how we know it's real is going to affect the way we are going to approach finding more about it. So if you come from a very strong scientific background and you believe that unless something can be measured and you can actually quantify it, where you can assign numbers to it and do statistical calculations, unless it can be measured, you might think, I'm not going to worry about it. I can't measure it. You can't measure it, it's not there. You can't see it, it's not there. You can't touch it, it's not there. You can't taste it, it's not there. You can't hear it, it's not there. That is going to have a very strong cultural dynamics, because there may be people in their research who are disclosing information to you that they heard someone say. So it existed because someone said it. However, the person who said it may have been coming from a different ontology. And so you're getting something that's being misinterpreted based on someone's view of the world. So it affects the way that we seek knowledge, the methodology. And I'm going to give you a little bit more examples on this in just a moment, because I'm just giving you the terminologies right now. This is a challenge, because if we're taking something that is unfamiliar to an audience, how do we make something that is strange seem familiar? We're affecting the epistemology, the way we think about it. Another challenge is if we want to show someone a different way of looking at something they see every day, but you want to provoke interest in it, you take something that's familiar and make it seem strange. That all provokes thought, provokes interest, provokes a dialogue. All right, so when we're looking at this, if the ontology is that there's only one reality, then there should be only one way of examining this reality, so it's going to be affected by your methodology, the way that we do research. That's going to help us see it best, our epistemology, how we view something. However, if you think that there are many realities, then you're going to use different research methods to understand the many different realities and many different ways of thinking about those realities. So, once again, ontology is what we accept to be true, epistemology, the way we think about what is true, and methodology, the way we find out more. Now we move on to axiology then, which in many ways are where we talk about ethics. Ethics are the principles that we use, or the guidelines, the standards that we use to decide what is right or wrong, good or bad. And that's, in a very real way, what we consider ethical behavior shapes the way we do research and the way we write about, the way that we publish, or what we display. So that if knowledge itself, knowledge for knowledge's sake, which is in many ways the way of the academy, of universities, if that is the ultimate end, then any way to get this knowledge would be justified, even engaging in practices that in one society might be considered unethical. Getting disclosures about different information without people's consent, or paying someone to have them do something for you. There are various, that ever happened at home? People were bought off to tell certain things. There are many individuals who are criticized. For example, in the 1930s and 40s, there are many Pueblo artists who had made money by rendering ceremonies in gouache or watercolor so anthropologists could use them to illustrate their textbooks and their publications. Because by that time, the Pueblos, the Zunis, the Hopis figured out if someone's walking around with a box that has a window on it, what is it? It's a camera. If you can't get a camera there, what's the next best thing? You get an Indian artist to paint something. And so an artist like Fred Cabote, a renowned Hopi painter, was criticized for painting sacred ceremonies. And this is when we're looking at ethics and things that people will do. And it's easy to pass judgment across people and across culture because we're operating within different ethical constructs, even down to individuals.